Hey, LinkedIn, we're on here. We're going to have an exciting show. Steve's going to tell you what we're doing today, finding clarity in your mission. Steve, let him know.
Absolutely. Well, excited to have you on with everybody. You know, we're having some challenges, technical stuff. It's going to be a great show. We've got amazing speakers. Tell us where you're calling in from. Tell us what city and state. We want to know who you are. We want to hear your questions. We're going to be fired up. We're going to fire up your Monday today for our final episode for this season, and we're going to be kicking off again in March. We'll tell you more about that shortly. But Cameron, I'll turn it back to you, sir. It's going to be a great show.
We're jumping right into the video. Hang on with us for bios. LinkedIn, we are going to fire up your Monday.
With Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
I am Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
Over the next hour of this Master Connection series, we will take a deep dive into the different ways to connect and network effectively.
See us and hear us right now. So LinkedIn, we are on here. We're getting ready.
Hear from experts along with Steve Spiro, who went from being shy and introverted to the Master Connector.
All right, here we go. I'm going to introduce our folks. We got Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, in the building. Steve Spiro is a martial arts black belt and a master networker. He's moved from being a shy, introverted kid to the master connector he is today. Steve Spiro began his business career by starting an advertising company in NYC. He had an incredibly fulfilling career and experience in advertising and marketing, but eventually pivoted to the technology industry. Today, Steve is a business automation. Oh my goodness. Steve is a business automation consultant with Quadient, where he helps companies streamline and automate how they communicate and connect with their customers, leveraging artificial intelligence with both hardware and software. Steve Spiro believes in the power of mentorship, growing oneself through self-development and continuing to create meaningful connections through building a large network. Welcome to the stage, the Master Connector himself, Mr. Steve Spiro.
Thank you, sir. Cameron Toth, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. Appreciate all you do, sir. Happy New Year, everybody. It's going to be a great show today. Hey, Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct here. And Cameron and I really appreciate you tuning in. We come at you with engaging content on how you, too, can be a Master Connector. During this Master Connector show, each week, our goal is to gather subject matter experts to impart their wisdom on us. Welcome to the show. I'm very blessed to have my co-host, Cameron Toth, here. Cameron is the host and founder of Biz Dev Live. Cameron founded Toth Event Staffing in 2011. Toth Event Staffing is a hospitality company providing staff to caterers, cafeterias, and catering departments in Westchester, New York, and New York City. Biz Dev Live was founded in 2020 and is a weekly show that airs on multiple platforms, including right here on LinkedIn Live, Mondays through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Biz Dev Live takes Cameron's entrepreneurship experience and combines it with his passion for helping young people and business-minded professionals. Cameron's mission in life is increasing access to education and opportunity for all people. I'm sure you're going to hear more about that today in the show. So please bring back to the camera and the stage, Mr. Cameron Toth, my man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I love everybody getting in here. You know how we do. Tell us where you're coming in from. We love our audience. We love that you show up for us. We got Bandy Bella checking in from the audience, Biloxi, Mississippi. Bandy Bella, thank you for checking in. Our guests, our expert panelists, Rachel at Baltimore, Maryland, in the comments here. Todd Westra, Park City, Utah. I'm coming to you live from Valhalla, New York, and Westchester, New York. Steve is coming to you from Stanford. We're excited. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We always love hearing that. No matter if you've said it before, we always love it. Everybody coming in, we want to network in the comments. This show is about networking and building a larger network. So let us know where you're tuning in from. Our regular Lynn Castelli from Ontario, Canada, checking in. That's why I got that province and everything. Let us know where you're tuning in. We got the international audience. We got the local audience. Please get in there and let us know. And we are trying to talk about finding clarity in our mission today. And we have some expert panelists with us today. I'm going to go over to introduce Mandy here. Mandy, there we go. I'm going to go in big there. Mandy Ross is a catalyst for positive change. International TV and media personality, YouTuber, Pave Your Paradise podcast host, content creator, influencer, model, mindset and health coach, and life cheerleader whose purpose is to uplift others to transform their bodies, minds, and lives. As a YouTuber and digital creator, and host of Pave Your Paradise podcast, created to share messages and conversations that help individuals take their relationships, health, business, and life to the next level, and a place to create the highest version of themselves so they can pave their personal path to paradise. She also specializes in coaching high achievers to become their healthiest, happiest, most successful, authentic selves so they can create a positive and purposeful life that they absolutely love. Say hi to Mandy on social media. She's active on all of them at Mandy J. Ross. Please welcome to the stage the amazing Mandy J. Ross.
Thank you so much for that amazing intro. I don't know how anyone could not be uplifted already in that like few minutes that you guys started. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm so excited to be here today to talk about something that is so important to all of us, which is how to find our mission in life. And guys, I mean, I think based on the levels of energy that we have, I think we could definitely talk on this, and I'm so excited for this show. So thank you for having me on today.
Love it. All right, we're going to go over to Rachel and introduce Miss Rachel Drunkenmiller. Rachel Druckenmiller is on a mission to humanize the workplace by igniting resilience, connection, engagement, and compassion in organizations, leaders, and teams. Recognized as the #1 health promotion professional in the U.S. in 2015, a 40 under 40 game changer in 2019, and one of the Daily Record's leading women of 2020, Rachel is a national thought leader in the field of employee engagement and well-being. She has facilitated over 250 virtual learning experiences since March 2020 as a keynote speaker, workshop facilitator, and leadership trainer. Rachel has spoken to leaders at a wide range of organizations, including Citizens Bank, Sherwin-Williams, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the American Heart Association. Follow her on LinkedIn and on our website at www.unmutedlife.com. Please welcome to the stage the absolutely daring Rachel Druckenmiller.
Hey, thanks so much. I love that. Yeah, I feel like kind of what Mandy said. I want to just put a recording of that and put it in my pocket and just have it to play whenever I'm having a moment.
We'll take care of you. We'll get you that, Rachel.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm really excited for this conversation. I think it's going to be full of purpose and insight and give people the chance to reflect about their own sense of purpose and hopefully walk away with some clarity. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. All right. We're going to go and introduce Todd Westra. Building and organizing a new business or team is never easy. Todd knows this because he has worn that hat several times before. Having started several businesses and grown 4 of them to adulthood and exit, Todd embarked on a mission to understand and identify some of the biggest challenges that our other leaders are facing while trying to grow their businesses. Hundreds of CEO interviews posted on the Leadership and Business podcasts have demonstrated that most bottlenecks experienced during growth phase come back to 3 main points: people, processes, and tools. People, processes, and tools. After digging a little deeper into each of these challenges, Todd was able to draw a direct correlation between the bottleneck and the leader in nearly every issue raised by the leader. There were obvious signs the leader was too deep in the weeds of the problem to be solved. In other words, most leaders get in their own way while trying to not solve a problem. For example, a leader with little to no sales experience should not be setting up a sales funnel for people they have never sold to, nor should a leader with no PPC experience be setting the balance between Google Ads, FB, and organic. Helping other leaders remove the hats is what Todd does best. Feeling overwhelmed with your organization? Book a time to talk with Todd at toddwestra.com. Please welcome to the show the totally terrific Mr. Todd Westra.
I am here. Hey, so happy to be here with you guys. And yes, you are not alone if you're feeling like you are the bottleneck. So we're here to help.
Beautiful. All right. So we're going to jump into this. And I think, the big question as we're jumping into this show today, to get everybody started off, what's this whole thing? What is a mission? Why is it important to get clarity there? So we'll just go around the room. Steve, get us started off. And then for everybody that's here, and Mandy, obviously we're going to put you in the mix, but help me out with the private chat if you want to jump into this conversation. Let me know who to go to next here. But Steve, get us started off here. What's this whole deal with mission? Why do we want to find clarity on it?
Yeah, I mean, I could just talk from my personal experience, right? I have a background in the advertising and marketing industry, and there was a lot of talk for years about, having a mission statement, and that's great, and you need one for your company. But what I found, and it only happened to me about probably right around just before COVID hit, so just about 2 years ago, maybe a little more than 2 years, I was kind of struggling, right? I knew I had a purpose here. I was kind of figuring it out. I was maybe kind of losing a little bit of my passion. I was there. And then somebody said something. They said this. They said, a lot of people were trained and were taught in our life to go after our dreams and goals and have it, to have the things we want in our life. And that's great. And that's true. But when you accomplish those things, now what? Now you kind of you get stalled out. And the audio message that I heard was, you need to come up with a life mission statement. And if you have a life's mission statement, and we could touch on the business side of things, I'm just going to talk about the life for a moment. If you have a life mission statement, then you always have something you're shooting for. And when you accomplish things along the way, you still have that goal. And so you could take this life's mission statement to your grave and to the next phase of your eternity. Okay. And so I created that life's mission statement, and that has jazzed me up. I heard it recently. I'm reading an amazing book. Yes, Cameron, another book recommendation here, Chasing Excellence. I don't have the author's name right at the moment, but I'll get it to you. But Chasing Excellence, and he says he's a CrossFit trainer, mindset coach, and he talks about how a lot of athletes, a lot of people, that they lose their kind of sense of grit because they don't have passion. And I believe that having that mission statement of really what you want to accomplish on this planet really adds to and makes you kind of fertilize that passion that's within inside of you. So I'm curious to hear. We have an incredible room, a lot of energy, a lot of great minds, a lot greater than me. And as I always say, Cameron, right? If I'm in a room where I'm the smartest, I'm in the wrong room. So I'm super jacked that I'm in the right room today because there's some great talent here. So I'll turn it back over to you and you could tell, I guess, whoever's going to be next.
Sure. Rachel's going to jump in here. Is the book that you're talking about by Ben Bergeron? Is that it?
That's it. You got it.
All right, there we go. So Ben Bergeron, Chasing Excellence. Rachel, jump in here.
Hey there. Yeah. So for me, interestingly, one of my favorite books that I always recommend folks to read, another book recommendation, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor. And one of the things that, he writes about in the book is that how all of us, we have this deep sense of wanting to live for something greater than ourselves. And one of the ways that I've connected to my sense of mission is to, first of all, look back on what are the things that I've been through that have been most difficult in my life, what have been kind of like the messes in my life. Where did I face a challenge? What did I learn from overcoming whatever the difficulty was, whether it was burnout or a traumatic car accident in the midst of COVID, or launching a business in the midst of a pandemic, or a lifetime of illnesses. What are the different experiences that I've had that I've been challenged by? How have I taken those messes and turned them into my message? So kind of making your mess your message, make your test your testimony. We've heard phrases like those before. And for me, I think that's where the greatest gold is to be mined, is to think of what are the situations in our lives that have been our greatest challenges that we have overcome, or we're in the midst of overcoming, or finding healing, or finding growth, or finding insight through. And how can we take the lessons that we've learned, the difficult things that we've gone through, and use them to help and inspire and be a guide or a catalyst for another person who might be going through their own version of a struggle. So for me, when I think about mission, I think of really looking through how can I share what I've learned through navigating my own challenges, and how can I do that in a way that is in service to other people, to help them and kind of serve as a light along the path that they're on as they're going through their journey to figure out, what it is that they're here to do. That's what I would say.
Love that. Mandy, you look super ready. I'm going to go over to you, and then Todd, I'll go to you. Go ahead, Mandy.
A Man's Search for Meaning actually is one of my, if not my favorite, to be honest, book. It's one of my top ones as well, because the way in which Frankl writes about finding your life purpose and how we all need that like deep sense of servitude and passion for doing something like you were talking about, Steve. I think that's so important, is really, it's about leaving a legacy, you know, like really leaving a mark on the world of how can we use what we've been through and all of our unique talents and skills and all of that combined, and how can we make this world a better place. And I like what you said, Rachel, about, you know, the servitude and how can we be of service to others. And I very much have a very similar way of how I've come into my life purpose. You know, I call myself a life cheerleader, but that is really how I feel like I show up for others, to encourage and inspire and uplift them. And a lot of times I feel like the best way in order to do that is, like Rachel said as well, I'm sure there's going to be kind of similar feelings to how we've gotten to where we are today in terms of figuring out the life mission, but it's really those pain points, right? Turning your pain into power and sharing your journey that connects all of us. Because at the end of the day, you know, people may or may not feel ready to speak up, but everyone is going through things, and there's going to be people out there who are going to connect with your journey and the things that you've overcome, and how you can use those things to then help them, as Rachel said as well, be that light in their darkness, right?
Love that a lot. And I love the piece where you're talking about, you know, the stuff that you go through, because I think that does end up guiding what you actually want to help with in the world. Todd, you want to jump in here?
You really kind of stay true to a mission. Yeah, the book that I always revert back to is The E-Myth, Michael Gerber. It's that book always helps remind me that I don't have to be everything in my organization. And with the audience here on LinkedIn, you know, so many people are feeling overwhelmed, like they have to wear all these different positions and they don't know how to really delegate. And the E-Myth always takes me back to the time when I first read it in college. I was starting a business, and it just kind of helps me understand that I don't have to be everything, because when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't do anything very well. And so clarity comes into play as you start to organize who needs to do what, who should I delegate this to, how do I get some of this stuff off my plate? Because the second you get stuff off your plate, the second that clarity returns and you're able to get focused again.
Yeah, I love that. And when you say the ebook, and I'm going into delay mode, Steve, but when you say the E-Myth, that book is an inside joke for this show, because it's how me and Steve met, and we talk about it all the time. So you can see us. You know, it was one of the first things that Steve recommended me when we did our initial phone call. This is going back more than 2 years now. So that it's a great book, and we
That's
recommend
awesome.
it. We talk about it often. So great recommendation for anybody that hasn't heard of the E-Myth. Please jump on it. All right. So I think the big next question, right, Steve, is for everybody here. How do you do that? Because I think the big deal with the reason that you need to find clarity is because you can be all over the place, and we need to focus, right? So how do we get to this clarity place so that we can actually be effective?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that some of it's going to take some soul searching, especially if you're looking for a life's mission statement, right? You gotta find out what really moves you, what really jazzes you up, right? You know, for me, it's you know, some of it, it's a fairly long mission statement, which could be a challenge, because I've heard you got to keep it a little bit on the shorter side. But for me, it's being that light and inspiring and finding and helping people to find a better place in their life. And so when you have that mission statement, you know, what really kind of moves you, you know, and you have that purpose, then you can kind of cull it down into a mission statement. But it's super important to kind of come up with the you know, a simple message that you could go to on a regular basis and refer to it. And then, you know, I find myself kind of going off topic. Yeah, it looks like Mandy wants to jump in. Go ahead, Mandy. Let's hear it.
Yeah, one of the things I think, especially when you are, you know, a high achiever and you have all these different passions, and you might be feeling like you really need clarity, and you might be feeling lost even. A lot of high achievers I come across tend to have quote unquote ADHD, so their minds are kind of all over the place, and they might be like passionate people, and they really don't know exactly which direction to go in. And for myself, and how I've been able to find true clarity is I've like you said, I think there's a component of this, as much as I think that I do believe that your ultimate life mission is going to be some sort of serving to others. I think what you have to do initially is step back and, you know, be able to remove yourself in a sense and disconnect from the outside world and really do that, you know, quote unquote soul searching and have those inner conversations and ask yourself, like, check in with yourself in those and try and figure out those moments when you feel most, and I like to kind of almost equate it to like feelings, right? So there's things that just kind of lower your energy, drain you, make you feel like just not your best. And then there's other things when you feel so aligned, you feel uplifted and excited and passionate and like time and food and nothing else matters. I think it's important to like start to notice the pattern of when you're really feeling your most elevated in life. And chances are, if you're watching out there and you're just not sure like what that life, you know, mission might involve, try to think of those kind of times when you feel like you could literally do something for hours and hours and hours on end, and then kind of roll with that vibe and see what might come out of that. When you focus on what you're passionate about, chances are you'll be able to dive a little deeper into those things, and that'll just kind of create this snowball effect where, you know, maybe opportunities will start coming up and you can dive into that a little more and explore it, because you really ultimately need to be open, I think, to figure out what your life mission is.
It's great stuff. Looks like Todd, you're gonna jump in for sure. Go ahead, Todd.
This is really kind of an important thing to keep in mind is, you know, having clarity in your mission needs to be repeated. You know, I heard you say that, Steve, earlier. And when I started this new company called Moku, which you can see up here in the corner, Moku is something that has built into it its own mission statement and our core values. And I've seen other businesses do this on a light level, but we made it a serious point when we created this business that we wanted to be super clear what we do. The word itself, Moku, actually means vision. And our mission statement is we strive to understand our client's vision and then supply them with the people, processes, and tools they need to execute that vision. And then the whole word Moku, we turn into an acronym to host our core values. And so as I meet with my staff and my team, we are constantly reiterating, okay, M, are we being moral? O, are we being optimistic? K, are we keen to our clients' needs? And U, do we have understanding? And we literally have made that such a clear point in everything we do as an organization that our entire company, when you talk to any one of our employees, it's a matter of they know what we stand for, they know what we're striving for, and how we're trying to help our employees. And I think that so many businesses can benefit from that clarity and that vision of understanding, how do I want to interact with my guests or my leads or my clients, and how do I want to take them through this client journey to make them happier? And that clarity makes the whole team feel like one.
Love it. Love it. So for the audience here, we want to get this. What is your mission? Do you have one? Steve, talk to us a little bit about, you know, if you're sort of in this place where you don't have a mission, what you need to sort of lay that out. Steve, you're on mute.
I'm muting. Okay, here we go. Here we are. All right. So if you at some point I was going to try to see if I could pull up my mission statements on my phone. I don't want to be looking like I'm distracted from the screen and look down. But when I'm not on screen, I could pull it up. But you know, I think the most important thing is you got to figure out again what that endpoint is. I love the fact what Mandy just said, which is, again, I know there's a couple ideas going on here, right? There's the business mission statement, and then there's a life mission statement. And I'll just say this. I think there's a challenge with the generation of today, not to use any kind of, I don't want to use age here, but I'll just say the generation of today, where I think and I hear a lot about a quarter life crisis, right? The 25-year-olds are just like, oh man, what's going on in my life? I don't understand. Is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? And I think it's because they're lacking a life's mission statement. And I think everyone wants to make their job or career kind of their purpose. And I know you want to have passion in what you do. And I know that's A lot of people speak about that, but I say it all the time. I find if you're trying to find passion in your career or job or business, sometimes that could be a unicorn, right? I mean, and I think we mistake it for wanting to enjoy what we do. We want to, it really leverage our skills and talents, but the passion part is going to come and go. There's going to be drudgery things. I know when I had my advertising company, I didn't love, pounding the pavement for new business. I didn't love collecting invoices that were passed due for my clients. I didn't love when I had to lay off or fire some of my staff. There's things about what you do that are not going to be passionate, right? But overall, if you could find a passion or a mission statement in your life that is kind of like overarching, then everything you're doing, as long as it's working towards that mission statement, it's going to make your life a lot more fulfilling. So I think, again, two things going on. I know, Todd, you're talking a lot about, which is fine, about the business mission statement. A lot of value in that. Don't get me wrong. But also, don't forget, on the life side, try to find it. And, all I know is this. I did a lot of, like I said before, I did some soul searching. I needed to really write it out 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 times. But I really needed to figure out, and I agree with what Mandy said, which is it really is about, for me, it's been about how do you impact other people? How do you make a difference? I learned that life, success is when how many people are better because you are here. To me, that's true life success. So if your mission statement has that feature to it or that factor to it, then I think it's going to really keep you going. I think if it's very material, it's going to kind of fall short. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question here, Cameron, but that's my perspective on it. And again, maybe when I get a chance, I'll pull up my mission statement. I'm happy to read it if you guys want me to. All right. Man, it looks like Mandy wants to chime in. Go ahead, Mandy.
Keeping it real in here. I actually brought, so this is not one of many journals that I have. I love journals. This can be a game changer. If there are those of you out there who maybe are not into writing, being able to document these things has really brought clarity to me. And I kid you not, like for New Year's, I actually did write intentions this year. This is an exercise y'all can do at home. This one actually says passion and purpose, and literally says, what are you passionate about? What gives your life meaning? And I did this exercise for myself. It's something that I put my coaching clients through in different exercises as well. But I think it is, like you said, Steve, so important for y'all watching to be able to start to document, these times in your life, because what can happen is you get so caught up in being busy that everything kind of drowns out that inner voice that will ultimately come out and tell you what kind of lead you in the direction of what you probably are most happiest doing. And I think with the day and time that we're in right now, it's very easy to just get distracted, right? We're living in literally a time of such distraction. 3 questions I actually wrote down for myself to bring clarity every single day. Like, this is part of kind of a master morning routine I have. But 3 questions I think you guys can adopt out there if you'd like to. One is, how can I be of service to others? How can I make someone else's journey on this planet a little brighter today? How can I use what I have and know to improve the existence and experience of life for another?
Love that. All right, Rachel, I think you're gonna jump in here.
Yeah, we're super aligned. I'm also a journaler, Mandy. I have, I don't know, probably I have a journal from elementary school that's like a black book with little pink hearts and pink and blue pages in it.
Oh, girl, I have rows upon rows.
Me too. It's like when they say, like, if your house were to burn down, what would be like the thing that you would grab? I'd be like, my journals.
Yeah, journal collection.
So yeah, totally aligned with that. And I think so much of what we don't take the time to do, connecting to what Mandy was saying, was taking the time to self-reflect, and to notice. So much about, I think of, there's this pressure, like, find your mission, find your purpose. And people are like, oh my gosh, where is it? Like, there's this thing I'm looking under every hat and every corner. Where is my purpose? And I think that can create a lot of unnecessary pressure. What I would invite people to do is to, like, notice what you're drawn to, notice what naturally, what brings you life. Like, when do you feel the most alive? When do you feel the most present? When do you feel the most at ease? When do you feel like perhaps even you're not necessarily trying as hard? And all of those things can point us in that direction. And I think if we're willing to notice and to pay attention, like I didn't have the intention of being a speaker. When I started my career, I worked in corporate wellness. I was always interested in health and human behavior and understanding why people did what they did. And, I got into working at an employee benefits consulting firm, which is like not anything someone, when they're 10 years old, they're like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to work in employee benefits. Like nobody says that. So what I chose to do was to just notice where I was being nudged. So like notice where you're being nudged. So I would notice, gosh, when I get to talk about health and wellness, and when I get to share a journey around these things, or when I get to share insight with somebody, that is when I really feel alive. And several years later, I got asked to speak at my alma mater when I was 2 years out of college, right? So I'm like, what the heck do I know? I'm probably younger than everyone I'm talking to, but I was invited to do it. And I thought, let me lean into that. Instead of assuming I wasn't qualified, because I'm, 24, let me lean into this and let me go speak. And it was a challenge. And so it was like continuously rising to the challenge and responding to the opportunities that are placed in front of us. I think that can help us find the path, as opposed to saying like, what is my one singular mission or purpose? And if I don't find it, I've ruined my life. I just think that's entirely too much pressure. And so that's what I found, is just like notice the nudges and where they're leading you and where they're guiding you. And then one more resource I'll share, a book I'd recommend. I love reading. This book called The Fire Starter Sessions by Danielle Laporte. And there are some fantastic questions in this book. Like, when do you feel powerful, passionate, free, incredibly useful, excited, or inspired? Like questions like that, that'll get you to really think about, what are the things that ignite me? What are the things that start a fire in me? Because that is something I can then spread to other people for the better. So those are some insights that I've had based on my experience.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in. Since we're throwing out some more books, I'm going to throw out a book. You guys can see me? Okay, let me come on. Okay, I think Cameron's cable guy is in the house, so we may have lost him for a bit. But one of the things that one of the books, the classics, and to me, the E-Myth Revisited is a classic as well, and that is the Start With Why by Simon Sinek, right? Kind of knowing why you're doing something is super important. And, he talks about the fact of the success. And again, we can go through the debate of Apple or Droid, and I'm not getting into that debate, but why Apple computing and Apple as a company has been so successful, especially when Steve Jobs came back in. Obviously, I know he passed, but he brought the mission, the purpose behind it, in terms of what it's all about, and how they're about challenging the status quo and thinking differently and all those things. And so it's super important to have the why behind it. So that's a great book as well. Go ahead, Mandy. And then after you, I'm going to have Todd chime in. I think Todd wanted to go after you, but go ahead, Mandy.
Oh, I'm good either way. Okay. Yeah. One of the exercises that I've also started doing with for myself, and Rachel brought up so many good points. We're super aligned. She and I have very similar ideas, but one of the things that I actually started doing, and I love that you brought up Simon, because for me, his work really resonated for me. And I actually have, it's on my Instagram. I put together one of the highlights, and it literally is just called my why. And for me, what really lights me up, what really what makes me feel so enthusiastic, is really helping people and uplifting them as this life cheerleader. So I will copy and paste. And this also works for those times when it doesn't just have to be to find clarity on your why. It could be those times when maybe you're not having your highest day, and to remind yourself why you are doing what you're doing, to encourage yourself as a personal cheerleader. I actually sometimes copy and paste messages that people have sent to me about how I've literally changed their life. And that's those moments bring me so much satisfaction, knowing that just my authentic way of being is improving the life of somebody else. And I feel like those are the kind of moments that we're all kind of, hinting at, whether it's business or life. It's how are we helping? How are we using ourselves, our unique talents, gifts, all of that, to then help people in other ways. And people will give you feedback. You will receive the feedback when you're truly living in your purpose. You'll start to get those moments where, you know, you'll feel, as Rachel was saying, I like to just call it alignment. Like, you'll feel uplifted. You'll feel like that fire is burning inside you. You'll feel excited about life. But the people around you will also be able to provide the feedback on when you seem your most yourself, right?
Great stuff. Great stuff. I apologize, a little back noise on my side here while you were talking. So I know Tim wanted to chime in. Go ahead, Tim. You have something to share, I believe, correct?
Todd. Yes.
Todd. Sorry, man. There's a lot of moving parts going on today in the show. Sorry, Todd.
No problem. No problem. Those short T names, you know how it goes. Hey, so, you know, one of the things that I found most in my life, especially in trying to run an organization, is the fact that when I am not clear on my mission, I'm confused. And when you're confused, you're overwhelmed. And so many people who are feeling overwhelmed, I would say 90% of the time is because they're not clear. They've either strayed from their mission, or they're just kind of off a path on a tangent that is not taking them where they've told themselves they wanted to be. And so one of the most important things that I teach most of my clients is, when we're developing funnels or sales systems for them, is, hey, let's be super clear here. What problem do you solve? What do you love to solve? And let's make sure that people know that there's a pain they're feeling that you can help them with. And so finding that clarity in your business, find that clarity in yourself. I'm telling you, every time I find myself going to bed at night thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, it's because I've strayed from my mission. I've gone down a tangent that maybe isn't aligned with where I want to end up. And so it's pulling yourself back in and saying, okay, does this align? And if not, cut it off. But if it does, let's make the alignment, pivot that thing over to where it coincides and it lives happy with what my mission is. And then the overwhelm just disappears because you have a path. You're clear on how you're actually supposed to be responding in that moment. And that's what I really emphasize to anyone who's struggling and feeling overwhelmed with what they're doing. Get clear. If you're on a tangent, see if it aligns. And if not, cut it off.
It's great stuff. Great stuff. So I know Cameron is sort of on backstage here. I'm not sure if you're able to talk with us, Cameron. Do we have another question, or should I go ahead and just give my maybe read off my mission statement real quick?
Well, definitely share your mission statement. I think it would be kind of cool for everybody to go around and share their mission statements, just to give people an example of what helps focus them, right? And we have the question for the audience. A couple people I think have answered it, but we want to know what's your mission? First of all, just because we want to help you with it. And if you don't have one, let us know. You know, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get there. That's what this show is all about. If you have it all figured out, we figure you probably wouldn't be tuning into today's show necessarily. But if you do have a mission statement or an idea of what your mission is or what you want to do in life, we want to hear about it in the comment section so that we can help you towards your mission. We're here to be the light, and we know that you're the light. And we want to help you brighten your light as well. That's what this show is all about. So, Steve, share your mission. Let's go.
Absolutely. And hopefully I won't get emotional, because this one brought me to tears when I came up with it. And for the first few months in you know, reading it to people that wanted to know, I got emotional. So we'll see if I get through this. But and again, it's very personal. So if it offends you, you know, it's my mission statement. So get your own, you know. But so mine is: help free the captives held down by the chains of financial bondage, addiction, and hopelessness, along with the endless trap of seeking after the flesh. And instead of pursuing those dark things, help them to have a new life and hope by leading them to a positive, uplifting, morally sound environment, which is led by principle-based servant leaders, where they can earn mentorship from people who have the right fruit on the tree. And I know that's pretty profound, and you know, some people may respond to it or not, but that was the one for me. And that is my North Star. That is where I'm going. And again, you know, not everything I'm doing in my life is kind of directly pulling that. So some of the things I do in the consulting world, well, that's kind of helping to fund the ability to be able to fulfill that mission statement. I think a lot of times we get too hung up on, well, if it's not directly, well, listen, if I have 6 things that I'm doing that don't lead to that, that's a challenge. But to have, like, somebody might drive Uber or Lyft for a little while they're waiting to be able to have the money to be able to do what they really want to do, right? That's okay, right? Somebody might be an actor or actress, might be, waitering or waitressing because they want to they're waiting to get that big break to be on the silver screen. So there's some things you could do, but ultimately that's what you need to have a North Star, kind of a purpose, an ongoing long-term purpose. So I'm not checking the chat here. Who wants to go next? Is that you, Todd? You're going to go next?
Sure. Yeah,
right.
Why not? To your point, having that North Star, really understanding what your mission is the absolute most critical part of being effective in business or in life. My family, I've got 8 children, and all of my kids know our mission statement. We actually have a whole framed image on our wall of our mission statement, and it's quite fun. We came up with all the points together. And with that mission statement, we as a family are very, very well connected. We quote it to each other. We quote parts to each other. But in my business, when COVID struck, my previous business, which was very much an in-person training, team building, and leadership function at a large organization, I had to recreate a new mission for what I was going to do. In 1 week, I lost all business, and I had to think of, okay, what am I going to do next? And so finding that vision of what I wanted to solve, the problem that I wanted to solve, that was a very, very emotional thing for me and my business. And I had hired a few people to help me produce a podcast. And when I did that, we sat down with just 3 of us, the initial team of 3, and we came up with our mission statement. And our mission is, as I mentioned earlier, to help our clients understand their vision and supply them with people, processes, and tools so they can execute that vision. And so this whole topic of vision is so important. I'm very passionate about this because I find too many small business owners out there who lose track of why they started the business. They get frustrated, they get flustered, and they get overwhelmed because they've lost sight of what that initial intention was when they started the business. And we try to help them recreate what that was, or modify or tweak. And it's okay to do that. Modify or tweak. Just get clear, get laser focused. And once you start solving that problem that you initially set out to do, you just feel good. Your employees feel good. And your clients feel like, okay, these guys know exactly what they're doing. And that's how we all want our clients to feel, is that we actually know the problem we're solving and that we know how to do it.
That's awesome. Great stuff. And, I think ultimately when you're crafting a mission statement, I think you have it in your business mission statement for your company, but it's kind of proposing the challenges and then the solutions on how you're able to resolve that challenge through what you're doing, right? I think that's kind of the format to creating a mission statement, right? But great stuff. Very appreciate the the contribution there, Todd. So it looks like Rachel, you want to go, and then I'll have Mandy right after Rachel.
Yeah, so I love Simon Sinek, back to him, has a really simple formula, really simple. I mean, it's sometimes the simplest things can take us a little while to navigate, right? Just to narrow something down can be harder than having it, be lengthier. But his framework, and I'll drop it in the chat in the comments, is it's 2, and then you fill in the blank, whatever your contribution is, so that. So when you're making a mission statement, for instance, and you're explaining what your why is, right? It's 2, so that. So for instance, one of the things I might say would be that my mission is to activate and awaken hope and connection and resilience and compassion and engagement in leaders and teams, which is one of the things that's what I do for my work. So that they feel validated, so that they can be more focused, so that they can be more productive, so they're more likely to stick around, so they have better relationships, and so that the organization can move forward on whatever their mission is and get more done together in a way that really works for the collective good of their people and the people they're serving. So at the end of the day, though, if I were to like really simplify it, right? Sometimes just simplifying when I think about what I do, it's to awaken and ignite hope and possibility in people, very, very, very simply. And I find that showing up with that intention, I think the intention, like just like anything we talk about, like values or mission statements, we know organizations, maybe we've worked for them, maybe we currently work for them, where they're like words on a wall, right? They're just words on a wall. And we can walk by them, and sometimes there's cynicism, right? But then the people that work there, they're like, psh, those are just words on the wall. We don't actually live any of that stuff out. And so I think it's important to constantly kind of recalibrate and come back to it and check yourself, and say like, how are we living this out? How are we living out the thing that we say that we're intending to live out? And for me, back to what Mandy was sharing earlier about getting client, testimonials and comments, that's one of the things I look for. I'm looking for is the thing that I feel like I'm here to do, to be a contribution in that way of bringing, again, hope and light and possibility and connection and all of that, and even peace to people. When they're writing testimonials or comments after any evaluations I'm sending out after the sessions that I do, are they saying things like that? Like, gosh, that really gave me hope. Oh, that was so refreshing. Thank you so much. I feel so much more connected to my team members than I did. I feel like we got to know each other. I'm really looking, is the thing that I feel like I'm here to do, is that being reflected in the feedback people are giving back to me? And I think that's an important way. Another way we can kind of, check to make sure that there's a sense of alignment with what we say that we're here to do and the impact that we're actually having. But check out that Simon Sinek approach of fill in the blank with the contribution, so that, and whatever your impact is.
I love that. And I was checking mine, and it doesn't say so that, but the premise is there as well. And by the way, Todd, 8 kids? Wow.
8 kids.
My goodness. You need a mission statement for that army you got there for sure.
Very productive.
Your wife, I'm gonna nominate her for sainthood. Okay.
She is a saint, and she puts up with me, which is the biggest.
Unbelievable. Well, good stuff. Well, Mandy, I know you wanted to contribute.
For the short form.
We had you on mute. Yeah, you're on.
That's
now.
okay. That's okay. So I was just saying, I think there's kind of the micro macro way to look at this in terms of having what your mission is. There's kind of the short form. Like, obviously for me, my in a nutshell would be, I help my whatever it is, the people I'm working with, whether it's clients or other people, and what I do, basically live their happiest, healthiest, most harmonious selves, so they can literally have the best relationships, the best health, the best business, show up as the best version of themselves. But on the sort of, macro, like you had your written statement, I don't mind sharing parts of mine. I have like a longer one, but just certain parts, just to remind myself in those moments when I do want to remind myself, like, what is the reason why Mandy Ross is on this planet? Why am I doing what I do? To have that. And I think it's important that people kind of have the short form, but also that long form, like you and I have written on, Steve. So I'll just share very quickly. I put, my heart is my greatest gift to humanity, and I'm destined to advance humanity's progress. One of my biggest passions is changing someone's life in a positive way. I choose to be a source of light for those in darkness, hope for those in despair, healing for those in pain, and love for those living in fear. This is how I choose to show up every single day, and what inspires me to jump out of bed every morning. In such naturally always high. I'm Mandy Ross, and I am a life cheerleader.
That's really awesome. That's great stuff. You can tell that you're really getting a lot of thought in that one as well. And that's probably, and a lot of, I think almost all of us here have talked about being the light in one way or the other, and in some of the things we've said. And now obviously that's why you guys are on the show, and we appreciate what you guys are doing, not just on the show, but in the world, because there's a dark world out there, and there's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of suffering souls, and we could be that light, right? And that's what the purpose of the show is. That's what the purpose of us being on this planet is. It's pretty amazing. And so good stuff. Well, we have Cameron has kind of left here. I don't know if he's planning on coming back here. I know he's got some technical stuff going on. Here's Cameron.
Very challenging, but we make it work. The show must go on. Absolutely. I'll say this, because we're getting to the end here, and I want to leave people with something really special here, right? So I'd love if everybody would just go around. We did have some people drop in their mission statements on here, which was which was really cool. And I love hearing from Maria Rouse, who's an amazing influencer. She talked about her personal mission is to be the present parent to her teenagers, become a challenge legislator and professionally be able to close all of my projects on affordable housing for the state of California, socially be more present to all my meaningful connections on LinkedIn. Susan Castelli was talking about her mission is basically to love people, and Rachel was commenting that it's on her profile. Loving people in the comments. Keep it up, guys. Let us know your mission statements. We'll be following up after the show. We love this topic. And so what I love for us to sort of do is sort of think about, what are some mission statements that we've seen that really don't kind of work in the world? Because I think being too broad, right? We want to focus in. We actually want to accomplish our missions, not to say that we can't accomplish something and move on, but what's a good mission statement that you've seen versus something that really just hasn't worked so well that you wouldn't recommend?
All right, and Cameron, at some point, we'd love to hear your mission statement too, if you can, sir. I know you're dealing with a lot of technical stuff over there, but
right. Well, I'll say this because you know my mission in life. It's opportunity and education, and that stems out of my challenges with education. The idea that a young person needs those doors opened up to them. If they don't have that, it's a lot harder in life. So getting those doors of education and opportunity opened up to them and to you, right, if you're watching this, that it's accessible. And so that's my mission in life, to make education and opportunity more accessible to all. I start in my neighborhood and in the places that I've been, but I'd love to bring that global. That's my mission in life.
It's great stuff. Absolutely. It looks like, Todd, you're going to go. And I want to, when you're done, Todd, I want to read something here that resonated for me. But go ahead, Todd.
One of the things that I've told my staff anyway is that what makes a good mission statement is one that you can reiterate in different ways. And part of what we do is we actually quote our mission statement often to each other. We keep it simple, 2 sentences. And as that's just the way we've chosen to do ours. I love, Steve, yours is absolutely beautiful. But for me, the way I've been able to instill the mission statement in my team is make it short and sweet, succinct, so that they can memorize it and say it on the, at will. And I actually provide bonuses during our team meetings. Sometimes I call on someone randomly, and if they can quote it, then I give them a bonus. And it's that important to me. It's really, really important to me that my team understands our vision, that our mission is super clear, who we're trying to serve, what service we're trying to provide, and how it's going to help them. And so that, to me, makes a really, really impactful mission statement, is one that you can recall at a moment's notice, one that you don't have to even think about it. It just comes out. And when you can do that, that to me is power.
Absolutely. That's great. No, I 100% agree. And that's why the code to that long mission statement that I said for me is to be the light, right? That's the code for me. But you're right. It is long and a little maybe hard, but fortunately,
beautiful though.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. So I'm going to read something here. It's not quite a mission statement, but I love the essence of it. And it really, when I heard it, and again, this is another one that sometimes I'll read it to people and I get choked up about it because it resonates so well for me. But so here it is. And it is, here's to the crazy. Okay, let me give you context. This was actually when Steve Jobs came back to Apple after he was let go, fired, whatever. They thought they could run the company and do a better job, and then it tanked. And then they brought Steve Jobs back. I think it was in 1997, and there was a Think Different campaign that they launched. And this is what the campaign started by saying. It says, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. And that, I just love that. I mean, to me, and I'm one of those misfits. I'm one of those square pegs, round holes. Sorry, that's me. So it just speaks to me. But again, not quite a mission statement, but definitely something that certainly resonates. And if it pulls the heartstrings, it's going to move you. Mandy, you look like you want to raise your hand. You want to say something.
Yeah, going along, I love the quote you just said. I've read that many times and I totally resonate with it as well, Steve. And going along with what Cameron said is in terms of a mission that hasn't worked, I think that's kind of what we've all been alluding towards in this conversation is like, a lot of times our biggest mission ends up being drawn from our biggest pain points. And for me, as a life cheerleader, when I really bare bones it down to like what you were saying, Todd, about really getting like fine-tuned clarity on what that mission truly is, amongst all of it, I really want to instill, especially in children and young people, because that's something that was my pain point that I've now overcome and love teaching others, is truly how to believe in yourself. And when you're saying that quote, Steve, the big thing that comes across to me is those people who are authentically themselves, who believe in their vision no matter what. They don't care about the external, validation, acceptance, all of that. They're the visionaries, they're the unicorns, whatever you want to call them. They truly believe in themselves. And for me, I think that's, finding what that one thing is. And typically it'll probably come from your biggest pain point in life. So if you're someone, I can speak from my own experiences when I was younger, there were things that I didn't believe in myself enough. And I can truthfully and truly say that now, so that I've been able to grow into the confident young woman I am, to then teach that confidence and how to become and grow into that to others. So, as this life cheerleader, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's really the essence of allowing others to really shine their lights the brightest by me helping them to believe in themselves more.
You're
Oh,
muted.
it's
You're muted.
I can't.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. So just, I love what, you mentioned, the misfits or whatever you said. And, I'm one of those misfits for sure. So, this has been great. And, so I know we're going to have Rachel chime in a little bit, and I want Rachel, if you can, as we get to the top of the hour, I'd like you to, give your contribution. And then if you could tell people how they could reach you, then we'll go to Todd, and then we'll go to you, Mandy, and then we'll close it out. Hopefully your camera will be on by then. And if not, we'll close it out without him. So, but Rachel, go ahead if you can.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to end with a quick little snippet of a song too. So let me know. It'll take about 15 seconds.
Sure.
That's about shining our light. So, for me, when I think of, just for anyone that's listening, that's on a team or works at an organization, may not work for themselves, one of the things, just an exercise that's really helpful that I would encourage you to pursue, is to bring a group of your people together and invite them to share stories of, when have we been at our best, right? When have you walked away from a day here and felt really fulfilled and felt purposeful and felt like what we did mattered? Tell a story about that. I'm really big advocate on inviting people to tell stories, because we learn so much from that. And by telling those stories, we can mine from those stories. What are the themes that are emerging across the group about when we have felt most proud of ourselves, when we've been at our best? And that is what we can draw our mission and vision and values and all of that from, because we're involving people in the process. When people are involved, they're engaged and they're more committed. So that is something that I would share. And folks can follow me here on LinkedIn. Certainly, I have a newsletter that I publish every other week called Unmute Yourself that they can subscribe to. You can also find me on unmutedlife.com and then on Instagram at unmutedlife. So a joy to be here. Happy to close this with a song. I'll move on to whoever's next.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll wait until the very end. We'll close the very thing.
All right.
Oh, man. Okay. I was like, wait.
You got to sound like it's the needles.
I know.
Here. Okay. All right.
I was like, I'm waiting for that song. Bring it on.
Right. Seriously. Ty, you want to give your contribution and how people can reach you, please?
Yeah, you bet. Here's the thing. For all of us in business, whether you're an employee or employer, the biggest thing that you can do to help your team work and operate better is to be super clear. Be super clear on what your mission is, super clear on the roles that are defined for people, super clear on who you're really trying to serve, who's your ideal client avatar. I'm continually shocked when I talk to business owners how many of them have lost track of who their perfect client is. And so they go out and try to serve everybody. And by trying to serve everybody, they end up serving nobody. And so as a business owner and as a team lead, or as someone who's just trying to build your way up in the ranks of your company, you have got to be super clear. What is it that you love to do the most? how do you incorporate that to serve the people you want to serve the most? And then you will start to stand out. Because I notice all the time, people in my organization who are super clear and know what their mission is, they immediately get upgraded in my organization because I want people who grab hold of what they think they know how to do and they just execute. So be someone who executes. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on any of the social medias. And of course, if you're looking for that clarity in your business, especially in your product development side, scan the QR code right here and let's talk, because I am happy to sit down with you, help, book a call, and let's talk about how to build the clarity in your product and how you deliver it to your clients.
Tremendous. That's great. Great stuff. Appreciate that. Okay, Mandy, you're gonna take us home, and then we're gonna have Rachel sing a song, and then we'll be out. So go ahead, Mandy.
Awesome. Yes, thank you first off to everyone who contributed to this conversation and all the people that are watching right now. Hello, we're sending so much love and light. Yeah, I think on a personal note, in terms of, I really like giving people takeaways they can do on their own at home. And I think one of the biggest things that's been a game changer for me to find clarity in my purpose is honestly just having daily check-ins, like tuning into how are you feeling? Are you feeling uplifted by the activities you're doing? This can stem to activities, to people, to, your work, like all these different things that are parts of who you are and what you're doing in the world. Really start to check in with yourself. And that does involve, taking away the external distractions and just having those inner conversations. And if you
You're muted, Mandy.
Hello?
There you go. Oh,
hello?
you're there.
Yeah, you're
okay.
back.
I don't know I don't know where it cut off.
You were just getting passionate.
Just at the very end. Just at the very end.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
Last 5 seconds.
Yeah. Did you guys hear me talk about the activity people can do to like check in with themselves daily?
You start with that.
Okay, it's all good. I'll just do like a nutshell version. Yeah, so basically I really like giving activities to people that they can do right now if you're listening or you're tuning in later or whatnot, to be able to do at home. And one of the biggest game changers that I've been able to use for myself in order to get super clear on what my life mission is doing daily check-ins. And this, I actually have a thing that I came up with called like a lifestyle detox, where you go through each area of your life and you kind of go through what activities, what habits, what people, your environment, all these different things. You can go through them and start to have these like inner conversations about when you feel your best, when you feel your happiest, most alive, most, enthusiastic, passionate about life. And when you start to notice the patterns of when you feel like that, it'll be that much clearer to you in terms of what really in terms of getting very clear on the direction of which your life is meant to go. And I came up with this quote that might help some people out there. When everything flows in synergy, you're on the right path. And going back to what Todd said earlier in the episode, I think it is really important when you start to veer off and you feel basically misaligned with certain things, I think that's what can really help you to gear yourself back into what you're actually meant to do. And that's where the clarity comes in. So I'm happy to help people. Feel free to reach out. I'm pretty much available on everything. My website is www.mandyjross.com. I have a YouTube channel, Mandy J. Ross. I'm very engaged and active on LinkedIn as well. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all the places. It's at Mandy J. Ross.
Beautiful.
And my podcast is Pave Your Paradise Podcast.
Pave Your Paradise. Okay, great. Excellent. All right. So Rachel, looks like you got you got a little mic time here, and then when you're done, we're gonna count down to crush it. We do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we all yell out "crush it," and then we'll end the broadcast here. So you're up for your little song.
Super quick. Yeah, super quick. It's just a reminder for all of us to kind of wrap it all up, to shine our light. I'm starting a LinkedIn live show actually, second episode on the 24th. So here you go. This is a song everyone's familiar with. So here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine.
I love it.
That was great. A little gospel action going on here. Nice. Love it. Okay. Definitely appealing to our Bible Belt crew and out there. So appreciate that. That's awesome. Great stuff. All right. So I know Cameron's trying to make his way back, but we're gonna end the show here. Listen, you guys are awesome. Great job with the group, with the panelists. We are gonna take a break for the show, and we're gonna relaunch on March 2nd. I've got the LinkedIn Live, the event page already up. That's gonna be on March 2nd. It's gonna be on leveling up your LinkedIn. Cameron and I are gonna reset. We got some great stuff planning for this coming next season, if you will, of our show. And it's going to be amazing. So super excited to have you guys join us again and give us some chance to kind of refresh and come back. So, Cameron, you got any parting words for us before we do the crush it? Oh, you're muted, sir.
I'm so happy for the team because Cable Man was coming in and working, and I'm back on the computer and here with the background. I'm so happy for our audience because you guys continue to show up for us. And the reason we're taking a break is not because we don't want to keep coming back, but we want to get ourselves together, get our clarity, right? All about what this show is talking about, get really clear on what we're trying to do with the show and how we can help people better, how we can expand and do different things with the brand. We're going to actually rename the show. And we're really excited about that.
I don't know if that cut out, but I think on my side, Master Connector Show. I don't know if it cut out.
Master Connector Show is what we're going to rebrand the show up in our next show on March 2nd. And we'll have stuff going up before then. We'll be doing a lot of work to make sure that content is amazing. But Master Connector Show, March 2nd. And I'm excited about it. I know Steve's excited about it. And that's all I got to say. Steve, lead us out of here.
All right. So we're going to end this show with what we do. We'll play a video right afterwards. But appreciate all you guys. Remember to be the light. Let's go out there and crush it this week and really be a light, uplift somebody in your world today. Reach out to somebody you haven't reached out to and just tell them how amazing they are. So ready? We're going to count down. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crush it! All right. Appreciate you guys.
Fire up your Friday.
Fired Up Friday.
With Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
I am Steve Spiro, the Master Connector.
Over the next hour of this Master Connection series, we will take a deep dive into the different ways to connect and network effectively.
See us and hear us right now. So LinkedIn, we are on here. We're getting ready.
Hear from experts along with Steve Spiro, who went from being shy and introverted to the Master Connector.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a Master Connections series.
You guys are finished? Huh?
We're still live.